She really helped herself to the wine, huh? Nick chuckled as he reached for the last piece of garlic bread. Across the kitchen, Ray was laughing too loud at something Lauren had said, both of them holding glasses they'd been refilling all night. Let her, I said. She cleaned half the kitchen. Yeah, well, Nick muttered under his breath. She owes you more than clean dishes. I raised an eyebrow. What's that supposed to mean? He waved it off. Nothing. Just, Ray's been acting different lately. Forget it. I didn't press. I should have. They left just before 10. Ray hugged Lauren twice, whispered something in her ear that made them both laugh like teenagers. Then they walked out to Nick's truck, arm in arm. Lauren turned to me. God, I miss having her around more. Let me know if my phone buzzes. I need to charge it. She handed it to me and disappeared upstairs, humming. Her phone was at 3%. I plugged it into the wall. It lit up, and there it was. A message from Ray, still shaking from last night. Then a second one, almost right behind it. You're dangerous. Guest room next time. And then a third. Delete these, okay? I stood there frozen, the cord dangling from my hand, the phone glowing like a warning flare in the dark. Guest room? Our guest room. The one Ray had helped vacuum 2 hours ago? I opened the thread. It wasn't the first time. Dozens of messages. Some subtle. Most weren't. They talked in code sometimes. Stretch sessions. Deep breathing practice. Chardonnay therapy. One message read, Can't believe you left the door unlocked. I was tempted to crawl in with you. Lauren had replied, Next time do it. He sleeps like a rock. I felt my pulse in my teeth. Not rage. Not yet. Just a flood of memories being rewritten all at once. All the times Lauren had told me she was going to a yoga retreat with Ray. All the double date nights where they shared girls' secrets in the bathroom for half an hour. The random, expensive charges on her card that I'd chalked up to spa treatments and overpriced brunch. I kept reading. Photos. A receipt for a room at the Larkspur Inn. The one Nick and I used for client meetings out of town. A voicemail. Ray's voice, giggling. You left your perfume in my car again. Or was that for him to smell? I copied the thread. Transferred every message, photo, video, and contact ID to my off-grid drive. Labeled the folder, Lauren _ thread. Then I powered the phone off, plugged it in, and left it exactly where she told me to. She came downstairs 20 minutes later. Phone still alive. Charging. She smiled. Walked over, kissed me on the cheek. Thanks, babe. You're always looking out for me. I nodded. Watched her disappear into the hallway. She didn't even glance back. I didn't sleep. I sat in the living room, staring at the blank TV screen while the dishwasher hummed in the background. My hands felt steady. My breath slow. I wasn't panicking. I was thinking. And the first thing I thought was this. If she's doing this to me, Ray's probably doing the same thing to Nick. And the second? We're not going to confront them. Not yet. Because we weren't going to scream. We were going to build something. A plan. A system. And when it was ready, they wouldn't just lose us. They'd lose everything. How bad is it? Nick didn't look at me when he asked. He just stared out over the backyard, hands in the pockets of his hoodie. His jaw was tight. He hadn't touched the beer I handed him. I stood next to him in silence for a few seconds before replying. Worse than you think. That's when he turned to me. No, he said quietly. It's probably exactly as bad as I think. I nodded once. You already know? He exhaled hard through his nose. I've been trying to convince myself it's nothing for a year now. Girls' nights. Wine weekends. Stupid little inside jokes I'm not allowed to understand. Ray stopped even pretending 6 months ago. I pulled out my phone. Unlocked the folder. Lauren _ thread. I found this 2 nights ago. Thought I was losing my mind. Then I thought of you. Then I started paying attention. Nick scrolled. His hand didn't shake, but his lips parted slightly as the screen kept lighting up with messages, photos, voice notes. He read one out loud. Next time, bring the candles from your bedroom. His cologne starting to linger on me. His thumb froze. She was in my bedroom, he said. Not a question. I didn't answer. He handed the phone back. How long? He asked. I shrugged. Hard to say. At least 3 years based on the message dates. He nodded, looked back toward the fence line, then said something I'll never forget. So what do we do? I blinked. No yelling. He scoffed. What's the point? I yell. She cries, denies, flips it on me. We've both seen how they play it. I'm not giving her the fight she's already rehearsed. I looked at him. What are you thinking? He gave the smallest smirk. I'm thinking, you and I are the ones who build things, right? I nodded. We built the business, the house, the lake property. We know where the accounts live. They think we're just good old dependable guys who don't pay attention. But we've been logging in and out of systems since before they figured out how to run online calendars. He cracked his neck, rolled his shoulders. Time to build something else. We went inside, opened laptops, started with bank logins, backdated expense reports, calendar syncs, shared Airbnb accounts. Ray had a burner email. Lauren had a secret folder in her cloud drive labeled Yoga Notes. It had scanned receipts, travel stubs, and oddly enough, a shared gift card account with Ray for over $4,000. We uncovered duplicate charges to the same spa on the same day in 2 different cities. A joint business license and Ray's maiden name that listed Lauren as silent partner. Transactions from my credit card bill to a wellness coach I never met, listed under Ray's zip code. That was day 1. By midnight, we had 3 folders. 1. Messages. 2. Financial logs. 3. Legal leverage. We didn't raise our voices once. Didn't say a cruel word about them. We were calm, professional. We weren't husbands anymore. We were operators. And when Nick closed his laptop and looked at me, he said it clean. We don't just expose them, Jake. We make sure they never rebuild off of us. We didn't speak much over the next 3 days. Didn't need to. Nick and I were logged into everything. We had admin access to the shared cloud we used for the logistics business. We also had old backups of our family budgets, joint tax filings, and that one shared folder Ray and Lauren set up years ago called Couples Planning. Cute name. Inside were spreadsheets that looked like harmless vacation plans and home remodel budgets. Until we saw this. SC Holdings quarterly transfer targets. Nick froze when he opened it. SC, as in Serenity Cove? I pulled it up on my screen. Serenity Cove was the name of the Airbnb Ray ran 2 towns over. It was supposed to be a side project. Something therapeutic after her old marketing job ended. Nick had put up half the seed money. And apparently, so had I, just through channels I never knew existed. The spreadsheet broke it all down. Client payments routed through gift cards. Deferred transfer to split cards 2x every 90 days. Jake card equals soft fund. Nick card equals alternate flow. Alternate flow? I checked my statements again. Cross-referenced with timestamps. I've been paying off a loan I never took. She used my identity, just enough to apply for a small balance line, then paid it from our joint checking. Just a slow bleed. It wouldn't flag. Not unless someone knew to look. You seeing this? I asked Nick. He didn't answer. He was already digging deeper into Serenity Cove's reviews. One of them was written under an alias that matched Ray's old Instagram handle. The text read, "Host was incredible. So generous with her time. Loved the private evenings." "Who's host in that sentence?" he asked, not even blinking. I didn't answer. We both knew. That night, I dug through Lauren's archived emails. She was sloppy with deletions. Thought dragging something to trash made it disappear. It didn't. One thread hit hard. Ray had sent her a PDF titled, "Just in case, Power of Attorney Draft." Attached was a forged document, half filled out. Lauren had been planning to sign for me. At a bank. As me. Probably just in case their plan to slowly move accounts under Ray's holding company hit friction. Nick called me an hour later. "Found something." "What?" "She tried to add herself to my business account last summer. Got flagged, but the bank never called me." "You believe that?" "Yeah," I said. "I believe it now." He was quiet for a second. Then, "She didn't just cheat. No. This was a replacement plan." We added new folders. 4. Identity abuse. 5. Legal drafts. 6. Exit assets. It was all there. Years of slow manipulation. Coordinated. Intimate. Calculated. We thought we had wives. What we really had were partners running an entirely separate operation. One built on us. But that was the mistake. Because if you're going to run a scheme on 2 men who build systems for a living, you'd better pray they never log in. Nick called them with the idea. Said we were feeling distant. That we wanted to treat them just as 4, he told Ray. One last getaway before the summer rush hits. She didn't hesitate. Lauren even got excited. Told me she already booked matching swimsuits and a bottle of that overpriced wine Ray liked from Napa. All smiles. All fake. Which was perfect. Because by the time we arrived at the lake house, the place was fully wired. We'd spent the previous weekend turning it into a listening post. Micro cameras in the vents. Audio pickups disguised as phone chargers. A motion-activated recorder tucked inside the drawer of the nightstand in the guest room. The same room Ray once called our little secret space. Every feed was routed through a private server Nick built in a day and a half. Password protected. Silent. Clean. We didn't want just screenshots. We wanted their words. Their tone. Their real selves. Friday night, it began. The girls shared a bottle of wine on the deck while we grilled steaks. Remember Arizona? Ray said. Lauren laughed too hard. Don't even start with that, or I'll end up on your lap again. Click. Audio saved. Later, we went to bed. Nick and I crashed early, supposedly wiped from the drive. Instead, we were in the basement with monitors, headsets on, listening. Upstairs, they poured a second bottle. And their guard came down. Nick's been weird lately, Ray said. Mine too, Lauren replied. Like he's finally catching on. You think? I don't know. But I told you we shouldn't have waited this long. Please, Ray scoffed. We've been running this for 4 years. What are they gonna do? Cry. Lauren giggled. I just want the house and the bank account. He can keep the tools and his old truck. Ray chimed in. I'm close on the power of attorney thing. Just need one more signature. Nick's so distracted, he'll probably sign it without reading. My jaw tightened. I looked at Nick. He didn't move. Just stared at the screen. You think we'll ever tell them? Lauren asked. Ray snorted. Why would we? They're comfortable. Dumb. Too proud to admit we've been playing them since yoga class. Another long laugh. Then Lauren whispered something that made Nick sit forward in his chair. I slept in your bed that night, you know, while you were still downstairs with him. Ray didn't respond. Lauren said, You smelled like her. You still do. We let it run for another 10 minutes. When they finally went quiet, Nick turned off the feed. Didn't say a word. Just opened a folder on his laptop and began uploading the recording. He labeled it. Final proof, lakehouse.mp4. Then he said, without looking up, we hit go Monday. Monday morning, 7:02 a.m. Lauren was still asleep when I stepped into my office. The lake house recording had already finished uploading to our encrypted vault. Nick and I were both logged in. 2 screens. One goal. We started severing ties. Quietly. Completely. First move, bank access. We both had secondary savings accounts we never touched. Old emergency funds we'd kept separate before the marriages. Those became our new anchors. I rerouted every auto deposit from my business accounts into the private fund. Then I removed Lauren's name from the joint account access. Nick did the same. We didn't drain the accounts. Not yet. We just froze them. Changed passwords. Killed online access. Shut off card functions. The money was still there, but unreachable. Second move, document lockdown. Ray's fake power of attorney draft. Nick filed a fraud warning with his bank's legal department. That triggered an internal flag. Her name was now marked for ID verification required for all transactions. Lauren's favorite card, the one she used to split brunch charges with Ray. I killed it. Replaced it with a ghost card tied to my LLC. Looks the same in her wallet. Totally useless now. Third move, real estate control. The lake house had been listed as a shared asset between me, Lauren, and Nick. We filed a quiet amendment over the weekend. Ray's name had never been legally attached, but Lauren's had been, through a domestic beneficiary clause in the old trust. My lawyer drafted a termination letter. Retroactive. Clean. She'd signed the waiver 3 years ago, thinking it was for landscaping rights. Now she was off the deed. Nick and I added a transfer clause that would lock the property to business holding if either of us filed for divorce. We were building firewalls they couldn't see. Yet, I came upstairs around 9. Lauren was in the kitchen, scrolling her phone with a furrowed brow. Did you change the bank login? She asked. Security update, I said. New 2-factor system. She gave a tight smile. Okay, let me know when you reset it. I need to send Ray something later. I nodded, then kissed her on the cheek. The last kiss she'd ever get from me. Later that afternoon, Nick texted me one sentence. They're locked out, and they didn't even know it yet. They were still sipping smoothies, sharing Pinterest boards, and planning their next wellness escape. They didn't feel the walls closing in. But that's the thing about firewalls. You don't know they're up until you hit one. It started with a text from Lauren while I was in a meeting. Hey, weird issue. Bank says the account's frozen. Did you do something? 10 minutes later, Nick sent me a screenshot from Ray. My cards just declined. Are we hacked? They weren't asking calmly. They were unraveling. I didn't respond right away. Neither did Nick. We let them stew for 6 hours. And when we got home, that's when the storm hit. Lauren was waiting in the kitchen, arms crossed, voice sharp. I tried to order groceries and the app says we have no linked card. What's going on? I shrugged. Might be a hold. Happens with the security update. She blinked. Security update? You didn't mention anything about that. I forgot. That's not like you. I smiled without humor. No, it's not. Meanwhile, across town, Ray had cornered Nick in the garage. You locked me out. Nick just raised an eyebrow. Locked you out of what? The business card. The trust portal. My email access. He tilted his head. You needed access to all that? Her lips parted, ready to lie. But she stopped herself. That lake house, she snapped. My name's on that. You can't just. No, it's not, Nick said calmly. Not anymore. You signed your removal the day you backdated that landscaping approval. Ray blinked. You tricked me. No, he said. You assumed I wasn't watching. Back at my house, Lauren's voice was getting tighter. So are you going to fix this or not? I met her gaze. Didn't blink. I already fixed it. Her face froze. What's that supposed to mean? It means I know, I said. I know about the guest room. The texts. Arizona. The power of attorney. All of it. Her mouth opened. Closed. Then opened again. You went through my phone? No, I said. Your phone synced itself. You just forgot I built the server that holds your cloud. She stepped back like I'd hit her. I can explain. No, you really can't. And I'm not interested anyway. This is revenge? No, this is containment. You're a liability, Lauren. To my name. To my business. To my brother. Her eyes went wide. Nick knows. I just nodded. Why didn't you say anything? She whispered. Because you would have lied, I said. And I didn't need your version. I already had the truth. She slumped into a chair. Face pale. Hands trembling. You can't just erase me. I'm not erasing you, I said. I'm isolating you. Across town, Ray screamed. Nick didn't even flinch. He played the lake house recording from his phone. Let her hear herself laughing. They're trained. They'll never leave. I want the house and the bank account. When the clip ended, she was silent. Nick just stood. You always said I was too passive. That I didn't take initiative. That I'd never leave. He turned toward the door. You were wrong. It didn't take long. By Thursday, Ray's name had been removed from 3 of the 5 community boards she sat on. One of them cited conflicts of interest and misuse of nonprofit funds. Another simply posted, effective immediately, Ray T. is no longer affiliated with this organization. Nick and I didn't lift a finger. We didn't have to. See, Ray had used her image, her carefully curated reputation, to build a small local brand. Wellness coach, entrepreneur, female empowerment speaker. All of it built on polish and proximity. And suddenly, the sponsors vanished. The clients stopped returning emails. And the whispers began. One of the yoga instructors they used to meet at texted Nick anonymously. Hey, is it true about Ray and your brother's wife? People are saying stuff. Thought you should know. Nick just replied. It's true, but they said it best themselves. Attached was the lake house audio file. She didn't reply. But the next day, Ray's profile disappeared from the yoga studio's website. Meanwhile, Lauren tried to get ahead of it. She posted a quote on Instagram. Not everyone will understand your path. That's okay. Let them talk. I waited. And when the comments came in, I didn't respond. But someone else did. A former friend. One of the old couple's circle from game nights. She commented. We're not confused about your path, Lauren. We're just disgusted. Then 3 more comments. Then 20. Then her account went private. Then silent. The pressure broke them fast. Ray texted Nick a 2-word message. I'm ruined. Lauren sent me a longer one. I know you hate me. I know you're done. But please stop. Please just let me go quietly. I never wanted this to happen like this. I didn't reply. Because she did want this. They both did. They just didn't think we'd notice. They thought we'd do what we always did. Work hard, pay bills, be grateful to have them. They never thought we'd turn off the power. And it wasn't just social fallout. Their credit cards remained frozen. Their access to the house titles stayed revoked. Their business registrations, the fake LLC Ray opened and listed Lauren on, it got flagged by a contact of mine at the state office. She asked if I wanted it reported. I said yes, very politely. At this point, Lauren wasn't trying to fight anymore. She was just scrambling, asking friends for couches to crash on, telling people I'd gone cold without warning, that I was having a breakdown. That's what cheaters do when the silence becomes louder than confrontation. They try to rewrite the story. But by now, the story was written, in full, and people were reading. Monday morning, 8:46 a.m. The divorce filings hit the courthouse docket. Nick filed first. I filed 90 minutes later. There were no lawyers at their doors. No warnings. No letters slipped across kitchen tables. Just the reality, plain and public. The game was over. Ray called Nick 13 times that day. Left 6 voicemails. The last one? We don't need to do this in court. Please, Nick. I'll sign anything. Just don't humiliate me like this. But she had already humiliated herself. He didn't reply. Instead, he sent her attorney a clean, airtight offer. 0 spousal support. No claim to the business or properties. Personal belongings boxed and dated for pickup. Take it or take the legal route. She signed it the next morning. Lauren didn't go as quietly. She tried to play composed, showed up at my office unannounced. Slipped past the front desk claiming family emergency. I found her standing by the break room, holding 2 coffees like nothing had happened. I just want to talk, she said. You're not supposed to be here, I replied. This isn't personal space anymore. This is business. She stepped closer. I know you're angry. I'm not angry, I said. I'm finished. That stung her more than yelling ever would. I never meant to lose you, she said softly. You didn't lose me, I said. You sold me off, piece by piece, over 4 years. I just finally noticed the inventory was gone. She blinked fast. Her lips parted like she had another excuse ready. I raised a hand. Whatever it is, I already logged it. She looked down, saw the manila envelope I'd been holding. Inside, the final financial statements. Trust closure. Home ownership transfer. Business beneficiary reversal. All of it notarized. All of it already filed. I held it out. She didn't take it. I loved you, she whispered. I know, I said. Just not the way you pretended. She took the envelope and walked out. No hug. No tears. Just that slow, stunned pace of someone realizing they're not coming back from this one. By week's end, it was done. The women were out. The documents were sealed. The homes were ours. The business protected. And the silence? That was the real signature. It had been 3 weeks since the filings. 3 weeks since the lake house went dead silent. No Ray. No Lauren. No fake apologies or half-truths sent through mutual friends. Nick and I hadn't just removed them. We'd erased the access points. My office felt different now. Lighter. I'd replaced the framed wedding photo with a certificate of incorporation, the new venture Nick and I launched, a private logistics consultancy, separate from the firm the women once had access to. And cleaner. We called it Redline Group. Private. Profitable. Ours. That's when the letters started coming in. Not emails. Not texts. Handwritten letters. Lauren's arrived first. Cream-colored envelope. Her name in small cursive on the corner. I didn't even open it. Dropped it in the shredder without blinking. Ray showed up the next day at Nick's. He read the first 3 lines, then burned it in a ceramic bowl on the back deck. No ceremony. No closure. Just ashes. But they weren't done yet. Lauren showed up at my father's retirement dinner. Tried to play the nostalgia card. Greeted him like nothing had happened. Told the table she'd always be family. I watched her from the edge of the room. Didn't say a word. Didn't need to. My father turned to her after a beat and said, "You're sitting in someone else's chair." That was it. She stood up. Quiet. red-faced, walked out without saying goodbye. Nick had a similar moment. Ray messaged one of our vendors, an old friend, asking to meet, off the record. The friend sent Nick a screenshot. Ray wrote, "I don't want anything big, just a conversation. I know I messed up, but we had something real, didn't we?" Nick replied through the friend. One line. "We did. Then you sold it for guest room secrets and shared passwords." That was the end. No more letters. No more accidental sightings. No more fake quotes about healing in silence on social media. Lauren's Instagram went dark. Ray's coaching site was taken offline. Their group chat circles? Gone. Their power? Useless. Nick and I didn't celebrate. We didn't toast. We just got back to work. We rebuilt the system they thought they controlled. We rewired the network they tried to own. And for the first time in a long time, we didn't have to explain ourselves to anyone. I sat on the back deck of the lake house just before sunrise. Coffee in hand. Quiet all around. The air still held a bit of that spring chill, enough to remind you it's real, that the world keeps moving even after everything you thought was solid falls apart. Nick stepped out a few minutes later. No words at first. Just two brothers watching fog lift off the lake, like it always did. Like nothing had changed. But everything had. "You ever think about what would have happened if we never found out?" he asked. I took a sip. Thought about that night with the phone. That one text from Ray. Still shaking from last night. That was the matchstick. "Yeah," I said. We'd still be thanking them. Apologizing for being tired. Working to give them more while they smiled across the table, knowing they were draining us dry. Nick nodded slowly. They didn't just lie. They built an entire parallel life. Right under our roof. "No," I said. "They built it inside ours." That's what stung the most. Not just the betrayal. The precision of it. The strategy. They didn't break down and cheat out of emotion. They planned it. Layered it with manipulation. Dug into our finances, our habits, our trust. And worst of all, they didn't think we'd notice. Not because we were stupid, but because we were reliable. But here's what they missed. We don't shout. We watch. We don't swing wild. We build quietly. And when we act, it's final. Ray and Lauren weren't just written out of our lives. They were archived. Locked behind passwords they'll never guess. And the keys? They don't exist anymore. Now it's just us. Two brothers. Still running the show. Still building. No more lies in the margins. No more double meanings over wine night. No more guests who treat your loyalty like it's weakness. The business is stronger. The circle is tighter. The foundation? Unshakable. Because now, everything we build, it's on truth, not on smiles we had to question. Let them post quotes. Let them tell whatever story gets them through the night. We don't need revenge. We have the rest of our lives. And they'll always remember the day the system shut them out. For good.